So, have you ever felt like you're living someone else's life? Like you're just playing a supporting role in your own story. It's a feeling a lot of us know all too well. Well, today we're going to dive into some really powerful ideas from Paula Williams to figure out how we can stop being the side character and finally become the author of our own lives.
Wow. This quote, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? So many of us have mastered the art of just getting by, just surviving. But that constant state of just making it through the day, that's a universal way from truly, deeply living. Okay, so let's talk about that. What does it actually feel like to be a side character? In this first part, we're going to really diagnose that feeling of being, well, disconnected from the very life you're supposed to be leading.
You know that feeling? Just going through the motions, waking up, hitting repeat on the day, staying busy, just so you don't have to really be present with yourself. And look, the source material is clear on this. It's a form of protection, for sure. But man, it comes at a staggering cost.
And here's a huge one, that constant chase for approval. We end up measuring our own worth by somebody else's yardstick, right? Always looking outside of ourselves for that validation, for someone to tell us we're good enough, that we're on the right track. And this is such a fascinating and kind of sneaky defense mechanism we use. We do this thing where we basically abandon ourselves, but we call it selflessness. We make it sound like this noble virtue. But the truth? The crucial point here is that we're often just making ourselves disappear so that everyone else can be comfortable. So where does all this stuff even come from? It's so important to get this, it is not a personal failing. As we're about to see, these are behaviors we all learned, usually as a way to just stay safe.
Yeah. See, from a super young age, a lot of us were basically trained to live from the outside in. We got really good at reading the room, right? At anticipating what other people needed, at performing. We became a chameleon, whatever we needed to be to avoid conflict or rejection or shame. It was 100% a survival tactic.
And that leads us right into people-pleasing. Now, listen up, because this is a huge insight. People-pleasing is not a character flaw. Let me say that again. It's not a flaw. It's a deeply ingrained survival strategy. It's a habit that's completely rooted in the fear of what could happen if we stop trying to manage everyone else's feelings all the time.
But here's the thing, right? When we ignore our own needs, they don't just magically disappear. Nope. They come out sideways. They show up as anxiety or that rage that seems to come from nowhere, or just total, complete burnout. Or maybe you just shut down in your relationships. Your body, it always keeps the score.
Okay, so we've kind of unpacked the problem. Now for the good part. Let's shift gears and talk about the solution. How do we actually start reclaiming our own story and stepping into that main character role for real?
And this is a really, really critical distinction to make. Becoming the main character is not about being loud or arrogant or needing to be the center of attention. No way. It's something way quieter and honestly way more profound. It's that internal decision you make that your life, your needs, your truth, they're worth showing up for.
This chart does such a brilliant job of showing that internal shift. I mean, look at this. You go from just reacting to life to actually choosing your life, from chasing approval to seeking alignment with who you really are. It's this massive move from self-abandonment to self-respect. And look at this last one. From confusing what's familiar with what's safe to choosing what is genuinely, truly nourishing for you. I love this because it's a real call to action. See, the main character doesn't just sit around waiting for their life to start, like it's some movie with a set showtime. No, they get that life is happening right now, and so they start participating. It's all about shifting from being a passive bystander to an active participant in your own existence. Okay, so you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but how do I actually start? Where do I even begin? Well, the source material breaks it down into 3 really practical, totally foundational steps to get started on this journey inward. And these 3 shifts, they're really the core of this whole thing. So, step 1, stop comparing and start claiming. Step 2, stop ignoring your needs and start listening. And step 3, stop the knee-jerk people-pleasing and start setting some real boundaries.
So that first step, it's all about letting go of that nagging feeling that you're somehow behind in life. Your life is not a contest. It's not a race against somebody else's curated social media feed. It's a homecoming. It's about reconnecting with your own pace, your own path, and your own desires.
All right, for step 2, we have got to stop treating our needs like they're some annoying inconvenience. They're not a problem you have to solve. Think of them this way. They are your inner navigation system. They're like a compass, always pointing you toward what you need to feel supported and whole. So you gotta honor them.
And finally, step 3, boundaries. Let's be really clear here. Boundaries are not aggression. They're not about pushing people away or being mean. They are an act of self-respect, plain and simple. Think of them as the loving, clear instructions you give to the world on how to treat you. Okay, let's start to bring all of this home. If there's one central idea, one metaphor to really hold on to from all of this, it's this. You are the author. You are the one holding the pen now. And please, remember this. This journey is not about being perfect. It's just not. You're going to stumble. You're going to fall back into old patterns sometimes. That's okay. Healing is just the practice of returning. It's about returning to yourself again and again and again. And this is the ultimate takeaway. You may not have chosen the first chapters of your life. And maybe those chapters were really hard. The circumstances, the family, the stuff that happened to you. Maybe those chapters were written for you. But you are holding the pen now. Look, the past may explain you. It absolutely explains why you develop these survival strategies, why you learn to shrink or to people please. It gives you context, but it does not get to define you. It doesn't get the final say. So really, it all comes down to this. You get to choose what happens next. You get to decide what this chapter is about, and the next one, and the one after that. The story is yours to write. So the only question left is, what will your next sentence be?